In the future, Twitter follows you. This week we'll be discussing security flaws in Google Chrome, the end of QR codes, some awesome apps for tracking, and just what is the corporate value of an empty app.
Hello, I'm Cameron.
And I'm Luke. We're here from Free Deal Studio, keeping you up to date with the latest app news and releases.
This is App to Date.
If you'd like to support this show, make sure you go to patreon.com/appnews. Next glass.
Guaranteeing you'll enjoy every next glass. This next app brings Netflix star recommendations to your pint glass.
By analysing the chemical makeup of thousands of alcoholic drinks, a high-performance liquid chromatology mass spectrometer,
which is a machine more commonly used to analyse urine for drug screening.
The creators of Next Glass app aim to accurately tell you how much you're going to like a particular kind of beer or wine.
The machine they've used to create the taste database has been described as the Lamborghini of mass spectrometers. And by collecting and analysing data about the bottles you like, the app then uses that analysis to predict how much you'll like a new beer or wine.
Now this actually reminds me of something similar I was speaking about Starbucks. When they introduced these digital baristas, the whole idea of it was that they could have an app that tells it exactly how you like your coffee. Not even you telling it how much you like your coffee. You have to rate how much you like the original coffee, and then they'll change it each time depending on what you say, until you get the perfect one. So you don't have to carry around your barista with you everywhere you go anymore. It's not just your guy who can make the perfect drink, it's every single machine will make your exact drink exactly the same the way you like it. And I think that's what they're going for with this. They're going for finding you the one drink that you can have as your drink that you can probably not buy anywhere.
That's pretty fantastic there, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll end up releasing like the ultimate brew, I can imagine. They'll have the secret formula of pretty much everything with their Lamborghini mass spectrometer.
See, I didn't think of that, but they will be able to detect which drinks are people's favourite out of every taste bud in the world. So eventually they can develop a drink that everyone's going to be absolutely hooked to like heroin.
The ultimate brewery. The app also has some built-in social features that let you see your friends' scores, so that when you're on your way to a dinner party, for example, you can see how your choice of wine or beer would suit them.
That is good.
That's pretty handy, isn't it?
That is good.
Pretty handy. It can get you out of some kind of awkward social situation.
See, I thought you were going to say how much one of your mates has had, but that actually knowing what type of drink they're going to want, that is pretty good, yeah.
Especially around the festive season. Well, the Next Glass is the only app that allows science to trump the opinions of critics when it comes to beer and wine.
So that's pretty neat, but I'll tell you who's not very neat for the environment, Apple.
Apple leaves the EP registry. Apple have decided to pull its products off the Electronic Product Environmental Assessment Tool, that's EP for short.
EP is a government-sanctioned environmental seal of approval that certifies that products are recyclable and energy efficient.
Now apparently San Francisco, or the city of San Francisco, in response to this, have said they are no longer going to be buying any Apple product. As Mark, the studio owner, said, do Apple really care? They're about to enter China. You know, the masses of China they're about to take on, who really don't give a damn about the environment, and certainly not the EP registry.
Yeah, they're taking on a 1 billion person marketplace at the moment. I think the last thing they need to be worrying about is one city of people's opinion on them. It's going to be a bit of a headache, I'm sure. So Twitter this week released a blog containing a sentence that most people will never get to read or be aware of, but it really caught my eye. It's probably one of the sneakiest invasions of privacy to be openly and publicly acknowledged by an app. The sentence is, we are collecting and occasionally updating the list of apps installed on your mobile device so that we can deliver tailored content that you might be interested in. It seems like a bit of a far-fetched thing to be saying they're going to be looking at your stuff and then just sort of silently passing that through without actually doing a big announcement about it, you know. Do we commend Twitter's honesty, or do we sort of ridicule them for screaming it into the ether rather than saying it to their users' faces?
Well, I mean, they should have put a tweet out about it, really, shouldn't they? The amount of data that Twitter can already harvest from their own platform is huge. It's absolutely huge. I mean, I use the Twitter API with Manage Flitter, and I can get information on what devices people are using, what they've tweeted about, their interests. I mean, their age, their gender. It's absolutely limitless. And now they want to see what apps you have installed on your device. This could be to do with the launch of the Twitter peer-to-peer payment platform, and whether they're going to be checking out, are our users installing apps like Snapcash, and if so, what are they using more? Are they using Twitter? Are they using Snapcash more? Are they using things like the Bitcoin wallets we've spoke about in earlier episodes? Maybe, I mean, it's a great piece of market research. I mean,
see, one of the things they didn't say is that they're tracking how regularly you use each app.
Yeah.
So maybe they're taking in the data, it's not quite as useful as it could be for them. But either way, I don't like them creeping on what I've got on my phone. And it almost seems like maybe their idea is to tailor certain content providers to market to you. So for instance, if you have WhatsApp on your phone, you'll see every so often a sponsored tweet from WhatsApp. But most of those tweets are just them encouraging you to download WhatsApp anyway. They're not additional features, so I already have it, so it doesn't really make sense. Maybe they're just putting it into additional services that are similar to.
Yeah.
But
or partnering up with shops perhaps. So is there any way of opting out of this, Luke?
Users can prevent their apps being harvested by activating the ad limit tracking or opt out of interest-based ad feature on their respective device through the app. Who knew that existed?
I know I didn't.
So this week's show has a sort of section all about tracking themed apps, so I thought we'd start it off with Twitter. But these ones are intentionally to track you and you would actually want them. So this one's free in the App Store.
So the first one we're going to be looking at is the Track Kit GPS tracker with offline maps. In episode 7, the famous episode 7 where I went to Scotland, I was on the Ben Nevis mounting with the Outdoors Great Britain GPS app, which was fantastic, but it was quite expensive. Now this, the Track Kit, has just gone free. It's gone free this week, probably to celebrate kind of the Black Friday, Cyber Monday festivities. With the Track Kit app, you can explore new places, share travel routes and pictures of your journey with your friends. The app was designed to assist with travelling, hiking, sightseeing, navigation, boating, hunting, and just generally finding your way around new places. Track Kit comes with a GPS tracker with offline maps and has been rated 5 stars on the App Store, being currently ranked 33 in free navigation apps for iPhone and 7, that's pretty high, it's top 10 in free navigation apps for iPad. Check it out. It's normally $1.99, which isn't a great deal, but you know, it's tough times, Christmas is on the way.
Speaking of the App Store's actually announced that October was its most popular month for downloads ever. This year. We don't know about the recent months. November could have been the biggest one ever, but we just don't know about that yet. The sales figures haven't come out, but well done on them for doing October. More from Apple. Google is potentially losing its spot on Safari as the default search engine, as both Microsoft and Yahoo are fighting for the spot. Google have been on Safari since the iPhone launched in 2007. Apple say that it will make the decision based on the quality of the product as much as its potential to make money from search ads. So I don't understand why Apple don't have their own search engine to start with. Spotlight search is fantastic on the Mac, and if they were to expand that out into an internet-based search engine, I'm sure they own the domain. Are they worried that they're going to have the same reputation as Internet Explorer and Bing, do you think?
Perhaps. I mean, I'm sure they'd make millions, but Google is an awfully powerful competitor, and I think they'd rather have them on side than be against them.
I mean, the obvious choice, despite probably not being the most popular or the most financially viable, is Yahoo, because Yahoo don't have direct competition with Apple in the mobile operating system realm. To change to Microsoft or stick to Google is potentially a conflict of interest inside the Apple Corporation itself, surely. Google is, and potentially for the foreseeable future, always will be, everybody's favourite search engine. But I think that Yahoo have a really good thing going on with their video preview. Have you ever seen that?
I've never seen the Yahoo video.
Yeah, you looked at me quite puzzled.
I've never used it.
Yeah, Yahoo Video Preview. I highly recommend you use that as a search engine if you're looking for videos. That's fantastic. You scroll over it, it gives you a nice little preview. You can even hear it and everything.
I'm going to try that today, you know.
Okay.
I'm pretty impressed with that. You learn something new every day.
I don't know if it's actually available on their search app or whatever, but it's definitely good on their desktop version. So next up you have Lumen Trails.
Yeah, now Lumen Trails allows you to take notes, make lists and keep track of other things in your life, such as time, workouts, expenses, calories, food, weight, sleep, or just about anything you can possibly imagine. Thousands of people use it every day, many of which say they love it because it does actually make a difference in their lives. The app can even automatically back up data to Google Drive, sync with iCloud, and is fully accessible with Apple VoiceOver in 8 different languages. I mean, that's pretty impressive. And to top it all off, your data is not locked to your iPhone like many other apps. You can quickly and easily export the information to Excel or Google Docs. The app was actually Apple's New Year, New You favourite and the Apple App Store staff favourite. And it was $19.99. You know, so this isn't a cheap app. This is a real premium app, incredibly well made, and it's free. It's free for a limited time. So get on the App Store and download it. I can't recommend it enough.
Or even if you don't want to have it on your iPhone right now, just to download it to your iCloud to say that you've got it, you can have it for free at any point in the future.
Exactly.
Which is often what we do because we like to scam the system. App frenzy. Are some apps overvalued? Apps have never been so popular, with some attracting hundreds of thousands of downloads in just a few days.
It's getting to the point where a lot of people are saying that apps offer growth that you just can't achieve with a website.
And it's this quick prospect of massive growth that attracts investors, with venture capitalists hungry for a quick return on their cash, which is exactly what led to the dot-com crash way back in 2000. So, is the same fate on the horizon for the app ecosystem?
Well, if we look back to the dot-com bubble, it was caused by a combination of market confidence that the companies would eventually return future profits that would be significant.
However, venture capital companies got greedy. Many caught up in the hype of the internet-based business and started speculating rather than using traditional metrics to value a company.
Which is something we've suggested as possibly being the case with Snapchat, especially amidst security concerns and monetization issues.
And yet, it's still worth $10 billion.
$10 billion. The most difficult aspect for any app developer is driving significant downloads. Many hope that they will find a way to make money from their huge user base after launching the apps.
Many developers who hope that they will find a way of making money from their huge user base turn to an in-app ads or freemium business model, essentially providing a free version which can then be upgraded for a fee.
In many cases though, hype around the app starts to drop well before the monetization stage, and soon it becomes pretty clear that the user base just can't be used to make any money.
The investors then have nowhere to turn to, but to their healthier investments to prop up the bank balance. To date, Yo has 60,000 downloads. Yo is an app where you can send the word yo to people. Literally that. If you're a business, you can send them the word yo, prompting them to look at your business, but not inside the app. And if you're a friend, you can send them the word yo.
You're completely limited to the word yo.
But somehow it has 60,000 downloads, and its creator, Arbel, has plans to turn Yo into a non-investive push notification system for people to subscribe to content they like, which actually sounds like a pretty good idea.
But personally, I read an interview with this Arbel character, and to me he sounds a bit pretentious. He's actually described his app, which can only send the word yo, as profoundly changing people's lives with its simplicity. I mean, it reminds me of the Emperor's New Clothes, but with apps.
Apparently, Apple even rejected Arbel's first submission to the App Store because it mistook it for being unfinished.
That's how bad it was. Now, we can't kind of slate this guy too much because he received over $1 million in funding from venture capitalists. And I quite like the idea of context-based communications, as Arbel describes it, because this is something everyone involuntarily does with the people they're close to. Everyone has that moment with their partner or their best friend or whatever, when something happens and you just look at each other at that exact same moment and you can immediately tell what each other is thinking. I think Yo is effectively an effort to appify that moment you have with your friends when you just know what's going on without saying anything.
How much did you say it was worth?
Well, he received $1 million in funding.
Received $1 million in funding for the word yo.
The word yo, the app took him 8 hours to create.
Kids, it's a great time to be alive. Well, I think we're actually in the process at the moment of joining Yo, and if you'd like to subscribe to us on Yo, we will send you a Yo every time the podcast comes out.
And another interesting point actually is that Yo was launched in the App Store on April Fool's Day of this year. So, I mean, is this really just a big joke? And going back to the economy and whether, app valuation has gone out of control, is this a test of the bullishness of venture capitalists who are interested in apps? And I mean, this could be a grand artistic statement. Maybe there's some kind of higher concept behind this and we're all being taken for a ride. I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, to say that it was like, he really did talk it up. Like, it's It's the forefront of human evolution.
Yeah,
isn't it?
exactly.
It really isn't that.
Arbor the second coming.
But I think there is a lot to be said about talking something up and hyping it up to a certain level, despite the fact it fails to deliver on that front. And what you're saying about people being willing to invest in people just promising that one day it will be something with apps is definitely something to take on board and note that it might be something that's completely exclusive to this time in technology history.
Are apps is this the app bubble we're seeing now? The hedge fund manager, David Einhorn, speaking to the Los Angeles Times, said that there is a clear consensus that we are witnessing our second tech bubble in 15 years. What is uncertain is how much further this bubble can expand and what might pop it.
In the last tech bubble in the year 2000, many technology stocks lost nearly 80% of their value, and the Silicon Valley saw 200,000 jobs evaporate overnight.
I mean, this is scary stuff, and if we're seeing this happening again, all the signs are there. In the first quarter of 2014, venture capitalists invested $9.5 billion, that's $9.5 billion, in app-related tech companies, a level not seen in technology since the last burst.
The end is nigh.
The end is nigh.
As the internet has matured, as has the stability for the platform and for the businesses upon that platform, much more than it was at the turn of the century.
And with the smartphone playing a central role in modern life and people much more willing to spend money to enhance their online experience, the app market's pretty secure. It is pretty secure. But who knows? Maybe the app bubble bursting will be a good thing and indie developers will be able to reclaim the slice of the app market pie they lost to major corporations who joined the field later on.
The golden age of app development obviously started around 2008, fueled by cheap smartphones. Bedroom developers were the first on the scene to create third-party apps. Since then, increasing pressure has been put on smaller teams of developers and certainly solo developers who don't have an endless amount of marketing budget when compared to the large corporations they're competing against.
However, for me, the biggest risk to indie developers could be the appearance of app streaming services, just like Spotify does for music and Netflix does for movies.
The problem is with the streaming service that they aren't particularly profitable platforms for content creators, which is why Taylor Swift left a couple of weeks ago from Spotify.
I mean, I think it's certainly a threat for independent developers to be aware of, but I wouldn't worry too much because I really think that the economy and the community is behind the small man in regards to app development and in regards to the App Store.
Okay, with Christmas on the way, we bring you the top discount voucher app.
Everyone loves a bargain, and with the downturn in the economy, voucher code websites have continued to flourish.
This has led to a number of apps being created to offer users offline savings at stores and restaurants up and down the country.
Which brings us to vouchercodes.co.uk app, created by the team behind the largest voucher codes portal in the UK, with over 7 million people signed up.
They were also one of the first companies over here in the UK to launch an app.
So we've chosen this app as our go-to app for discount vouchers because of the huge bargaining power it has with retailers, with regular runs of exclusives that just aren't available in any other voucher apps.
When using the app, you can quick search nearby vouchers before filtering the category. You can save vouchers to use at a later date or set yourself a reminder to make sure that you claim the deal before it expires. Is this the end of QR codes? QR codes were originally designed for use by the automotive industry in Japan and are still commonly used for logistical purposes like stock tracking.
And that's where the problem lies. It's an industrial solution being used in a consumer context. And now Quickly wants to replace the QR code with the action tag in an effort to make the real world more interactive and remove the barriers that current tags often present.
Mainly by giving simpler access to online content. Action tags get around many barriers presented by the QR codes. It strips away a lot of the visual mess associated with them.
These QR codes are pretty ugly, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Pretty ugly. It's like a scrambled egg of code, kind of glittered everywhere. I don't like it. And Quickly introduces logos and words so you actually know what you're about to scan and what it does. I mean, how many times have you seen a QR code that's got nothing to explain what it does? I mean, it could take you anywhere. It could take you to, like, some of the worst websites on the internet and you have no control over that.
Yeah.
Pranksters could have gone wild. I know I would have. been doing all kinds of terrible things to wind people up when I was a bit younger. If I'd have known about this, I'm printing stickers out and putting them everywhere. Get a free iPhone.
I don't think QR codes have ever peaked in popularity to the point that actual corporations wanted it to. They had them up on billboards everywhere, but I think ultimately people didn't really use a QR code reader at all.
No, you look like an idiot, don't you?
Yeah.
You're kind of standing there trying to take a photo of it. It's usually raining because we're in England. You're cold and you just want to get home. So if you see a poster, I mean, I personally, I wouldn't stop to do it. No.
I definitely wouldn't do it on the underground either, because people will give you the funniest looks, and that's where they are for the most part.
Exactly. The only useful QR code I've ever found was actually on a processor. I mean, the serial number on this thing was sort of like 20 characters.
Yeah.
I thought, oh great, I can scan this in and, you know, get taken straight to the specs website so I can see what this is compatible with.
Yeah,
And,
I could definitely see what the good point in that is. But if you've got your computer smashed open so you can look at a QR code, you're probably not going to be able to use the website.
Action tags can also let you share map locations, connect to free Wi-Fi, or add dates to calendars.
It's a really versatile system. Best of all, it's clear what you're going to get when you scan because it contains recognisable logos within the wording.
Now, Quickly aims to provide deep links into mainstream apps so you can go directly to their content rather than just landing on a URL, which is the case for QR codes. I've always thought QR codes were really quite primitive.
Yep.
And I've been surprised. There's so much adoption to them. I thought the NFC chips was really interesting, and that could have been a replacement. But I'm actually liking this a lot better. So, Luke, do you want to tell us more about these Google Chrome security issues?
Security website Extension Defender reveals a new Chrome browser extension bug that they say allows companies to get behind it to install apps on your phone without providing your permission or even knowing it was installed.
That's pretty scary, actually.
Yeah.
That's a huge bug. That's absolutely terrible. So what have Google done about this then?
So Google is, as of yet, to take any action against this or comment on the bug at all. However, I'm sure they'll respond in a typically Google way by not saying anything about it, remaining nonchalant and reporting it as bug fixes in the next update to the app.
Oh, the pride of Google.
I know. A lot of people have been quite distressed by this bug, but it stands at the moment that it hasn't really significantly damaged many devices.
Oh, okay.
The main perpetrator to avoid is RevJet.io. It calls itself a browser monetization system, using their service in conjunction with Vulkan.com, which enables background installations. Extension Defender notes that the main apps using the malware include 3Dominator, FB Autopoker, Post to Tumblr, and Alert Control.
So avoid those extensions entirely.
Next up, moving on to the iPhone. Have Apple shot themselves in the foot with the new iPhone 6 Plus? Now, many of you may be familiar with Pocket, and you should well be. It is the #1 Read Later app. This week, they released an infographic depicting evidence that they have found of their iPhone 6 Plus users cannibalizing their iPad usage. This means that more time is spent reading on the iPhone than the iPad. Now, on the infographic, which I have up here to show Cameron on my lovely iPad, says that the iPhone 5S customers use their service 55% of the time to read articles when compared with using their iPad 45% of the time. With the iPhone 6 and its bigger screen, they actually use it 72% of the time on the phone and only 28% of the time on the actual iPad itself. And with the iPhone 6 Plus users, it's only 20% of the time people use their iPads to use the Read Later feature. Now, that, at the moment, doesn't seem like too much of a significant thing. It's only a Read Later app, surely. But what it actually stands for is this is one of the first apps to come across and say that they're having trouble because everybody's moving over to a new system. So have Apple shot themselves in the foot? Have they taken away their own market slice by creating a phone that's almost a tablet?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're definitely their own biggest enemy. And now, hopefully, if they discontinue the manufacture of iPads for a while and sell them off while more and more people adopt the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus, then maybe they won't have too much of a problem. But I can see kind of stockpiles of iPads going unsold because they are very expensive, and most people now are choosing between an iPhone and an iPad. They're not getting both. I mean, why would you need an iPhone 6 Plus and a tablet?
Well, especially an iPad mini. It's very similar, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But that brings me to the question, what on earth could they possibly do with the iPhone 7 to rectify this mistake? Perhaps maybe making it smaller after they made such a big deal about making such a big iPhone?
Yeah, maybe. And maybe they'll have some platform-specific apps. So apps that are locked to the iPad, for example. And maybe we'll see more interaction between the Apple Watch, yes, that's right, not the iWatch, and the iPad. And kind of bring back some extra functionality.
Yeah, hopefully.
I'm a big fan of the iPad. I absolutely love the iPad. And I'm not a huge fan of the iPhone. I mean, I don't have an iPhone 6 or an iPhone 6 Plus, but I do have an iPad mini Retina, and I use it every single day. And I like the screen size. I don't think it's too big. I don't think it's too small. And I've seen the iPhone 6 Plus, and compared to an iPad Retina, would I go to it? Yes. I think maybe purely because of the novelty and all the hype around it. Oh, look at me, I've got my iPhone 6, I've got my iPhone 6 Plus, have a look at this. People kind of using it at every opportunity to show off. I think a lot of that is this. I think it'll balance out more so than it has, but we will see a reduced use in iPads.
I think people's communication is completely changing. So the way they message each other and the way they call each other with FaceTime audio alone, that changes the market completely for people who are selling packages of minutes to people, and it significantly changes the market for people sending texts with iMessages because they can't charge for it. They only charge for the data plan. So perhaps what might happen is they might stop calling it the iPhone and the iPad and just sell a series of different size screens that can all do the same things. I mean, that is not beyond the realm of doable, and it could be called the iFad.
Yeah, brilliant.
All building up to that one little pun there, and it didn't even work that well. Moving on, we will go to games. Bruce Lee, Enter the Game.
Now, a brand new game starring Bruce Lee has just been released on iOS, coinciding with the 74th birth anniversary of the greatest martial artist of all time on November 27th. This game is called Bruce Lee, Enter the Game. Bruce Lee Enter the Game is a 2D arcade fighting game that lets you fight for justice as the classic action film star. This is also the only officially licensed video game approved by the Bruce Lee estate, allowing you to use representations and reproductions of Bruce's real signature style and sounds.
The creators of Final Fantasy release a new app, Heaven Strike Rivals.
Square Enix, the Japanese game developers behind the Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest series, has just soft-launched a new iOS game called Heaven Strike Rivals.
Boasting a battle system said to have been designed especially for mobile, Heaven Strike Rivals challenges you with turn-based player versus player combat with special events and weekend arena competitions.
And of course, coming from Square Enix, the artwork is pretty amazing. So if you're a fan of the Final Fantasy series, be sure to check it out.
And so that will wrap up the show for us very nicely. If you'd like to support this show, make sure you go to patreon.com/appnews.
You can find links to all the apps and news mentioned in this podcast in the description.
Thanks.